Everybody clap for me. I've been on ADHD medication for 1 month, and I'm going to be talking to you about how this has positively affected my life in a way that I did not know was even possible. I'm going to talk to you about the changes that I've noticed, the side effects that I've experienced, and how I plan to continue going forward with my newfound ADHD diagnosis that I got in May. For the first month, I took 20 milligrams of Vyvanse and 300 milligrams of Wellbutrin. I've been on the Wellbutrin for 3 months now, and so it was my first month with the Wellbutrin and the Vyvanse. I did have to take Focalin first, so my insurance would pay for Vyvanse. My doctor said she prefers Vyvanse, but they make you jump through that extra hoop, so I did have to get the Focalin, and I took it for about a week, but I really didn't like it. I felt a crash afterwards, and I really can't recommend that for me. But I like being on the Vyvanse. The first couple weeks were an adjustment period, and I'm going to talk to you about some of those side effects in this video. So just a couple of statistics. 4.4% of adults in the US have ADHD, and many of them are undiagnosed. So it's 5.4% of males and 3.2% of females, but because of gender biases, females don't get diagnosed. So women basically live undiagnosed their whole lives because these are things that just, I guess for some reason, we're not believed. Like every other aspect of our healthcare, it's just not as important. And so that is kind of frustrating. Only about 25% of people who have ADHD ever get diagnosed, which means that the other 75% of them are walking around. That amount is 6.5 million adults. And so basically up until a couple weeks ago, I was one of those people walking around undiagnosed with no medication, and I felt like I was flailing. I felt like my life was just not good. And now if I could have one word to describe how I've been feeling lately, the word is capable. I feel like I'm able and capable to do the things that I need to do to express myself creatively, to work in my business, to maintain my relationships, my body, my mental health. All of those things took such a toll on me. What would happen is I would wind up hyper focusing on one or two elements, and all the other things would fall to the side. So basically I would be really good at my business for a couple months, or I'd be really good with fitness, or I'd be really good with like mental health, and so I wasn't able to keep up that balancing act. Vyvanse actually works by increasing the neurotransmitters in your brain for dopamine and norepinephrine. I'm probably butchering that, but you can look into it if you want to know specifics, and it helps you improve your focus and your impulse control. I will say I'm not the type of ADHD that can't get things done. I'm the type of ADHD that goes into tunnel vision for things I want to do, and it gets to the point where I obsess over it. I put all of my energy and focus into it, basically put all my eggs in one little basket, and once the basket gets so heavy, I drop it and I burn out. So I've experienced this cycle throughout my entire life of being hyper-focused, work, and then I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I'm laying in the bed for weeks, I'm depressed, everything's pointless, everything's meaningless, and then a couple weeks after that, the cycle starts over. Oh my God, my mom just called me, and now I don't know where I left off, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about the fact that I have the type of ADHD where I can get things done, but that it turns into a negative spiral when I overwork myself and then burn out. So Vyvanse is going to help me with that. It's also FDA approved for binge eating, which I thought was very interesting considering I've struggled with binge eating, disordered eating. I've struggled with substance abuse, like alcohol, like being drawn to like certain things that are just addictive. And now that I know I have ADHD, it makes a lot of sense why my brain was trying to go to those things, because those things were easy for me to get dopamine from. So Vyvanse helps by increasing your attention span. It helps you with task initiation and completion, and it reduces impulsivity. It helps you manage time better and improves the ability to stay organized. It can help reduce anxiety related to the ADHD symptoms by improving overall functioning. If you feel like you can't do life, that life is exhausting, that you're tired every day, that you don't know how other people are doing it, that you can't like keep it all together, or that you feel like this underlying thing that like something's wrong with you, I would get tested for ADHD. I felt my entire life like I just can't do enough. I'm not good enough. There's not enough time. The things that I was trying to do seemed hard. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but like something like going to take a shower for me is not a automatic task. It's more of like, oh, I need to take a shower. Oh, I really don't want to. Oh, I'm gonna have to wash my hair in there. Oh, I probably need to shave my legs too. Oh my God, but then when I get out, my hair will be wet and then I'll have to dry it. Oh my God, and then I probably need to put on makeup. Like, all of that is something that I think about before I take a shower. So just letting you know kind of how my brain works. When I don't want to do something, it's almost like this giant weight on me of trying to be able to do it. And so I think with this medicine, I've been able to target my focus a little bit better, and I've been able to manage my time better. So in the first week of trying the medicine, I'll say the side effects were definitely the most severe at that time. I had very dry mouth. I had trouble sleeping. I had a little bit of a stomach ache. I had anxiety, a higher heart rate, and basically I was just kind of feeling like my brain was firing really fast, and I felt like I was kind of like on uppers basically, because that's what it is. But after that first week, I did start to feel significantly better. The anxiety subsided, and where there was once anxiety in my life, it kind of turned into like almost like motivation. And I started noticing like, oh, I'm not exhausted at 3 o'clock, and I actually feel like I can go to the gym today even though I worked all day. Or I feel like I have the energy to like drive to Walmart and pick up a couple things that I need. All of those things felt like huge tasks to me, and it's almost like they're seeming more doable. The biggest side effect I've noticed from this medicine that has continued is lack of appetite. And there's a subreddit, I think it's ADHD women, and it is full of stories of people saying like, how do you remember to eat? How do you make yourself eat? And I've noticed that food has just not been doing it for me. I've had to force myself to eat for the last couple of weeks. Not to say that I don't enjoy food at all, but it's just almost like something that I'm not thinking about right now. And I find that very interesting because I've been on semaglutide or Ozempic for the last 2 years because I just could not get food out of my brain. So I'm almost wondering, did I need ADHD medicine? And I didn't really need, I guess, I don't know how to explain it. Did I need the ADHD medicine so that food wasn't top of mind all the time? Because I would constantly feel hungry. It wasn't like oh, she thinks about food so she wants it. It was like, no, my body felt physically hungry. And so not having that right now is kind of nice, but I do see that there are times when my blood sugar drops and I get like kind of like the shaky hand thing going on, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to eat something. So I'll force myself to eat like a sandwich or a frozen dinner or something like that, just so I can get my blood sugar levels to regulate. So I have also started working out more, and the physical activity has, I think, led me to have better sleep. I've had trouble sleeping for about 2 years, and I've actually had better sleep. It's like my sleep got worse the first week I was on it, I think because I was so stimulated. But the second week, it felt like my sleep has actually gotten better. Like I've been able to go to sleep and like sleep through the night and not wake up. So that's been strange because for the last couple of years, I really haven't slept well at all. I think part of this is that I'm able to exert a lot more physical energy, and so that's helping me sleep better. I've also gone back to doing some of the tasks that take me a lot of mental energy, like journaling, reading, and doing like time-intensive things in my business. For example, things that might take 3 or 4 hours to kind of sit down and do, almost like you have to write a paper for college. I've been able to do so much more stuff like that lately because I feel like in the peak of my medicine working, I am like able to focus. Like it's not like a scatterbrained feeling anymore. It feels like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know how to do it, and I'm gonna sit down and do it. Most of my life, I struggled to do things I did not want to do, and I just straight up haven't done it. Like there's a lot of things that I just don't do. I've also noticed that my anxiety has pretty much subsided for the most part. Now I do have like a base level of anxiety, I think, just because of a lot of trauma that I've endured, but I feel like my like day-to-day anxiety has lessened significantly, and the depression is mostly gone. I did notice that when I had my period, I did not want to unalive myself, as the kids say, and normally when I have my period, I experience extremely low lows. So I think I have PMDD. It's very bad. It's a very bad time around here. And so I noticed that during the last one, I was not feeling so low. So that was interesting as well. There's just been a lot of changes. A couple of the things that have helped me with this newfound energy is paying attention to where I steer it. So it's almost like you've got a new horse and he's got all this energy, but he doesn't know which way to go. And so you've got to take the reins of the horse and say, okay, we're going in this direction, we're going in this direction. And so I've kind of realized like, okay, I need to plan out my day to some extent. I mean, not like super focused, but I want to have a general outline for what I want to accomplish in that day. And so what I've been doing is I've been using the Notes app on my phone to kind of make a bullet point list of all the things I want to get done. And whenever I feel like, okay, what do I do? I go to the list. And so that has helped me a lot. I also set weekly and monthly goals. That's something I've been doing before the ADHD, but I think in setting those now, they're a lot more intentional. I would set them before with high hopes. I would be like, I really want this to work. But a lot of the times I would wind up not accomplishing the things that I set out to do, and then I would feel even worse about myself. So self-confidence has increased tremendously. I feel more sure of myself than I've felt in a long time. I feel like I felt more like I was when I was in college, and I just knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I wanted to own a home. I knew all the things that I wanted. And as I progressed through my 20s, I think I just felt worse and worse. And now I feel more me, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm getting back to like, it's almost like I'm the old Bella, but I'm also this new Bella. So I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel more self-assured. I don't feel like I need to get gratification from other people, especially with posting on the internet. I have a tendency to post a video and then check the analytics on it like over and over again. And so I've actually set up some parameters on my phone so that I will be able to limit social media use. So I've started using a new app, and basically what it does is you can say how many times you're allowed to open an app and for how long. And before I'm able to open the app, it makes me do like a 20-second breathing exercise. And so it creates a little bit of friction to where my first instinct is to open these apps, but then it's like, no, remember, this is not that important, and you need to do a breathing exercise before you can do it. And so YouTube Studio went on the list for that. I think it was YouTube, TikTok, Reddit is a big one for me because I will scroll Reddit for hours, TikTok for hours, and the other ones like Instagram and Facebook, I don't use those as much, but they do all suck time out of your day. I'm trying to limit my availability almost to the point where, you know, I'm not reachable all the time. And I made a post about this on my Instagram where I was like, I don't feel like we're meant to live our lives constantly reachable. That's a lot to put on a person. And so I'm able to set some boundaries, and I've actually been like setting up do not disturb on my phone. So from like 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., nobody can contact me. And I mean, I feel like that's pretty fair, right? Like that's my downtime. And I also have been setting do not disturb while I work. And so instead of getting like text messages here and there and your phone's dinging, it's just silent, and that's kind of nice. So I take my medicine first thing in the morning. I think a routine is important with this type of medication because it definitely changes your energy levels. I try to get up and take it every day around 8 a.m. After that, I usually do like a little bit of light reading in the morning. And then if I feel like journaling, I'll journal. And after that, since I'm self-employed, I go into my office, open my laptop, and get started for the day. I've actually made some pretty big changes to my businesses. I run multiple online businesses, and so I can get to the point where I don't know where to focus my energy. And so in this month, I have kind of decided to let one of the businesses go. It's the poorest performing, and it takes up the most amount of time. And I'm like, why did I not see this before? It's a total time suck. It's not something I enjoy doing anymore. And I just feel like it's always there if I want to do it. You know, I'm not going to completely quit, but I'm just not going to add anything new to it. So I'm just going to put it down and not worry about it. And I don't think I had that clarity before this medication. I would just be trying to put out fires everywhere, and none of the fires were going out. So it just feels like I'm able to focus more on what's working, you know, implementing the 80-20 rule. Well, if 80% is working and 20% is not working, cut out the 20%, you know, it's like cutting out a cancer. It's taking up all of your resources. You can't keep it and then expect to manage everything else. So 20 milligrams is actually the lowest dose of this medication, and I've moved to 30 milligrams. So I'm currently like in my second month, just started that medicine. And so I do want to do a 90-day follow-up after I've been on this for a couple months. But I guess my biggest regret about this medication is that I did not go on it sooner. I almost feel like a grief, like a loss that I have wasted some of my life. I don't know if that's legitimate or if that's just me feeling like, oh, I wish I would have been able to do this better or that better. And of course, we always look back in the past and think, I wish I would have done things differently. But I truly wish I would have pursued this a little bit more. And so if you take anything from this video, take my advice and don't wait until you're almost 30 to go to the doctor for your mental health. I've been to therapy for years and I've been on all this depression medicine, and so I just don't understand why it took so long for them to figure out and for me to figure out that the ADHD was the underlying cause of most of my issues. I'm definitely feeling more optimistic and feeling more creative, feeling more like I can do things a little bit outside of my comfort zone, wanting to do some travel, wanting to experience life in a different way. And I feel like if anything, this is going to change me from being in that depression thing to being more in like living a fuller life, being able to explore a little bit and being able to go outside of the norm and just kind of going back to my creative side and my adventure side, because I used to be really adventurous. I used to like go hike the Appalachian Trail and fly to Italy and go to Germany. And so I want that version of me back, and I know that she's in there somewhere. I just have to keep working on it and keep working on me. And so going forward, I'm going to keep going to the doctor, obviously, to get my medication and to discuss the dosage and things like that. I'm going to keep going to therapy because I know I need therapy. Even after 10 years, I still need therapy. So, and then I'm also going to kind of go through some like self-exploration and maybe write more and read more. I feel like doing those kind of things has always helped me kind of center myself. So after a month of being on Vyvanse, I've really seen the power of this medication, and I see the potential for me to really overhaul some things in my life, some things that have gotten like out of hand, some other areas that I've neglected, and I feel a greater capability to go forward now. And I feel like being on this medication, it might not be forever. It might be for a couple years, a couple months, I don't know. But at this time, it's working for me. And so I refuse to feel any shame about it. And I refuse to feel anything bad about it, because I know in the long run, this is what I need and it's working. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you have any stories or any tips for ADHD, I would really appreciate it if you would leave it in the comments below. And if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for updates. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.